change life. The life of the eternal spirit is my life. Ernest Holmes again. And we need words to communicate with each other so we can move forward in our lives. We must pick our words extremely carefully at all times. Author unknown, but that's some good advice. And her affirmation, I am the light of God, and nothing stands between me and the light, absolutely nothing. I don't actually have a little bio for Tricia. You want to do a short one when you start? I don't have one here. That would be cool. So now, what we've all been waiting for, the beautiful, wonderful ball of spirit, Tricia LaBrie.
Thank you, Joe. That was lovely. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And welcome to our center. I'm so happy to have you here. We need you here. We love you very much. All the Zoomers, hello, Zoomers, we love you. Hi, and welcome. Okay, well, a short bio. I got involved in Science of Mind by accident. We know there's no accident. In 1992. And it was by a woman who, his name was, she's passed away since then, Diane Merritt. And Diane, if you know the name Marriott was from that family, from the hotel family. And she never told me that. I found that out years later. She did not flaunt her life. Thank you. He was just a very calm, quiet person. And I would ask her consciously, many times, why is it you're so calm? Because I wasn't calm in my life at all. I was a young woman and I was very, very crazy at that time. And she told me about Science of Mind. And it was called Church of Religious Science at that time. And I went to the Redondo Beach one and I was transformed by being there, transformed. And then as things happen sometimes, people told me that I needed not to be involved with that group of people. And I was crushed. Fast forward to 2006, and I was living in Glendale. And again, I met another lovely lady. Her name is Carol Grice, who also has passed on since then, who had been in Science of Mind since she was 17 years old. And she told, at that time, she was in her 70s when I met her. And she told me that she believes that the reason why she was a multimillionaire was because she was involved in Science of Mind. And I thought, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on there. Maybe I ought to go back there. So I've been involved in Science of Mind ever since. And I love this place. And I love Science of Mind. I love Ernest Holmes. I love all of it, all of it. We have other ways of doing this. This is just one way. We have other ways of doing this as well. And we welcome those people as well. We like Buddhists and Muslims and Catholics and you name it, Christians, doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to anybody in this room. You're all welcome here. You're all welcome here. Today, I'm going to talk about why does thinking get a bad rap? Well, one of the first things that happens for some people is they say to themselves, how should I think? How should I think? And let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, you can think any way you want to think. How about that? It's up to you. However, I do believe that sometimes we get caught up. We get caught up in this, what I call radio noise in your head. Blah, 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 blah. And we don't want to keep that going. We want to have some control over that, some control over that. So let's make some decisions that'll work for you. Actually, I believe, and I believe that Mr. Holmes believed that part of the reason why we think certain ways is how we process information. There are 4 ways of processing information. There's visual, seeing. There's auditory, hearing, listening, speaking. There's touch, tactile, feeling. And there's auditory digital, which is a self-talking that goes on in your head. These are all scientifically proven by people who are way smarter than me that put this information together. So basically, what we need to do is find out how we process information best for us. Now, I must say that all of us use all of these things at some point. It's just that most of us have one specific way that we use more. For me, it's auditory. When you're speaking to me, you're talking to me, and I'm listening to you, I am taking in your information. I am hearing everything that you say. Can I repeat it to you? Probably not. Probably not. But I can still remember on some level what you have said to me. That's how I process information. Visual is in a different way. That's by seeing. That's why people love watching movies and watching television and going to concerts, because they are looking at something and they are processing that information at the same time and taking it in. They're taking it in. Can they repeat that, what they've seen? Probably not. But they will remember very well what they heard and what they saw. Then there's the touch. The touch is a different way of looking at things. That's by actually feeling. And those are the people who learn best when they do an activity. For instance, I'm a terrible cook, okay? Terrible. I can't cook anything well. However, I could clean up the kitchen really good. So you turn me loose in that manner, and I will clean up that kitchen really, really well. But please don't give me a recipe, because I will mess it up every time. That is not my way of learning. It's just not. And the last one's a little tricky. That's the auditory digital. That's the one where most of the time you learn best by writing something down. Writing something down. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about the brain processing information. So what does the brain do? The brain receives an input, whether it's one of those 4 ways that I talked about. We process the information, whether it's one of those 4 ways that we process, and then we deliver that information back. That's one of the reasons why flashcards work. I know that many of you have gone to school and used flashcards at some point in your life. I did. They work because we're using one of our methods of processing information in order for us to function in the world. I have to talk about this because I'm a nurse and I'm always talking about being healthy. I can't help it. It's part of my life. I've been doing it for 54 years, so I probably am going to do it until I die, you know. When you don't have the proper water, amount of water, or sleep, or exercise, or vitamins and minerals, or food, your brain cannot work well. It's just not going to do well. It's not just your body. I'm not talking about just your liver and just your kidneys or anything like that. Your brain has to be fed as well. And if it's not getting the proper nutrition in order for it to function, you're not going to do those 4 processes that I talked about well. So how does that translate into your thinking? Well, when you learn which of those processes work best for you out of those 4, then you are able to think better. Did you hear me say that one? When you know which one of those 4 processes work best for you, you're able to think better. And what do? We're changing our lives by changing our thinking. That's what Mr. Holmes talked about. I called him Pastor Holmes. He's probably Mr. Holmes, but it doesn't matter. He was a very, very powerful man, lovely man. So what kind of learner are you? I told you mine. I'm an auditory learner. Just take a minute and think about that. Ooh, think. Take a minute and think about it. I have a website here that you can use. Take a short quiz. It's called fluentella.com, and I'll be happy to give that information to you at the end of the program here today. And you can find out what your primary way of processing information is, which will allow you to be able to think better. At first, it seems a little strange because it's different. Processing information is different, but it doesn't mean that you can't pick it up real quickly. It's easy, actually, once you start doing it over a period of time. When you understand your learner style, then it is much better to understand your thinking style. Generally, but not always, thinking gets a bad rap because we don't know our learning style. Fortunately, we're not all clones. We're all different. We are all the same, and we are all different. We are all the same, and we are all different. What does that mean? Well, that means that Joe has a heart, and Corinne has a heart, and Judy has a heart. Get the picture? That makes us all the same. How are we all different? Joe likes to wear kitty cat socks. Karen doesn't. That makes them different. So we are all the same, and we are all different. Do you see what I mean? Not only that, but we all have different skills and abilities. Not everyone has the same skills and abilities. And it's when you're thinking well and you're thinking at your best, it's easy to decide and to figure out what your skills and abilities are. I think I told you earlier, I'm a terrible cook. I can't do that. But I'm a really good cleaner-upper. And that's what's so important about learning your processes and also learning how you think. Because when you know those things, it makes it easier for you to function in your life. When I started learning these things, it transformed me in a way that I was able to do things that I wasn't able to do before. I had a real hard time learning computer issues. I really did. It was not something that came easy for me. I'm not a techie person. I don't like pushing buttons. I don't like stuff that comes up on screens. And why is that? It's because I'm not visual. How about that? So see, when you know these things about yourself, then you're able to do things sometimes that you wouldn't normally be able to do. I had to force myself to learn how to do computers and computer programs and all that stuff that went on when you were, everything changed at the hospital and nobody wrote anything down anymore. Everything had to come through the computer. Okay. So Jill gets it. He's laughing. So, in conclusion, I suggest you take the quiz. Like I said, I'm happy to share the website. It's very short. It's not this big, long test. I hate tests. Big, long test. It's a short test that you can take and figure out what your way of processing information is, which will allow you to be able to understand better how to think and how you can change your thinking to have the things in your life that you want. The reason why we are here at this center every week on a regular basis, because we want every person who is listening to us now and who is not listening to us now to take away something, anything that is going to make your life better. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. And as Danielle said earlier, we invite all people to come here. You can be young, old, disabled. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can come here in a bunny costume if you want to. It's okay. We will welcome you here. I know I make a joke, but I make a joke to make a point because I want people to feel comfortable.
Everybody's welcome.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Everybody. Correct. So, anyway, I love all of you, and I want all of you to take the quiz. I want you to grow. I want you to be happy. I want your life to develop into all the things that you wanted to develop into. And I mean that with all my heart and soul. I don't mean that as just a fly-by-night. I mean it. I mean it. Okay. What happens is, when you change your life by changing your thinking, by knowing how to change your thinking, you become the person that you were meant to be. You become the person that you were meant to be. Each person in this room deserves to be who they choose to be. We all had a mission. When we came to this planet, we all had a mission. All of us. Thank you for listening. I love all of you, and you have a wonderful Sunday, and God bless you. I'm going to do a short meditation. I'm asking that everyone will please close their eyes and please put both of your feet on the floor. I'm asking that you will put your hands on your heart. I am asking that you will listen to my words. Humble thyself in